Hello, my name's Duncan Robertson. I'm one of the freelance gallery educators who help deliver on the Gallery Social programme for the National Gallery of Scotland. Today we're going to look at two videos. One looking at the artwork The Hunt by Robert Burns, the 1920s painter. And the second video is a short follow-up video making artwork inspired by looking at The Hunt. So hopefully you have time to look at both videos today. And if you would like to get yourself a nice cup of tea and sit back and relax, we'll have a look at this wonderful, vibrant and colourful panel. This panel is now known as The Hunt. It was previously known as Diana and the Nymphs, though it doesn't seem to have some of the characteristics of Diana, who would have a crescent moon on her head and the hunt spears and things. So it's been renamed lately to be The Hunt, but you might see it also referred to as Diana and the Nymphs. We see three figures running through this Amazon-like rainforest scene and is surrounded by animals such as jaguars, and we've got some birds flying along the top, some magpies, jackdaws going across the picture, and we even got some monkeys integrated into this very rich and luxurious scene. It's actually a panel made for Crawford's Tea Room, which we'll speak about later, which is a very prestigious tea room in Edinburgh, and it's now part of the National Gallery's collection. The artist has used a few tricks to give this feeling of richness and vibrancy in the painting. For example, he's used red and green. These are complementary colours. The opposite colours in a colour wheel. So when you put red and green together, they're very vibrant and they really kick off next to each other. They really give each other sort of like vibrancy to the eye. It's quite often used in advertising. There's that saying, red and green should never be seen except for on an Irish queen, sort of like warning you against putting red and green together to wear. Actually, some people like the vibrancy of red and green, and these rules are maybe out of vogue nowadays. And it's been used very deliberately in the painting. He was also inspired by artists such as William Morris. I'm quite a fan of William Morris, as you might be able to see here. This is one of his designs called The Strawberry Thief. And arts and crafts movement were very interested in looking at art of the past and putting the handwork back into the craft of art. Here in the William Morris image, we've got these birds stealing strawberries, and they're all intertwined by these vines and leaves going through the picture, giving it a very rich, almost medieval feeling to the actual image. This is still reproduced very often, and you can buy it as tablecloths and placemats, obviously. You can see how the artist has used the vines going through the picture, very similar to how Robert Burns is used in this painting. Another thing he's used as well is used gold as the background. In the background of this painting is gold, and gilder's gold, this very rich material, is used in the background of the painting here. So it would be size, which is a type of glue, and glued onto the panel and used as the base of the painting to give it a very rich, vibrant feel, also reflecting light round about it. And if you look closely at the gold, it's also been embellished by burnishing tools. These are the type of tools that bookmakers might use to decorate book covers. This is actual gold pressed into leather, and you have tools to mark this gold in, and then you rub it in to leave these wonderful rich marks in leather. And he's used some of the same tools to give a very rich feeling to the panel. And some of the leopards are in gold and black, and some are in reversed or black and gold. So it's really worked with this idea of positive and negative within the painting. One of the moments I like very much in the picture, in the top right-hand corner, there's a monkey, and it's kind of looking straight out at us, the viewer. So it's saying, oh, it's as if we've just come across the scene and asking us what we think of this moment of the scene going in front of us. And it's very reminiscent of Renaissance paintings, such as here, and early iconic paintings where the religious deities, this is Mary at the base of the cross, and they're given halos, and this is embellished as well to make it look very rich and luxurious. And here we have a monkey with the same aesthetic style within the painting. It would have been very exuberant to look at in the 1920s in Edinburgh. So the building, number 70 Princes Street, where the Crawford Tea Rooms were, is still there today. It's the building next to the former British Home Stores building on Princes Street, directly across the road from the Royal Scottish Academy and the National Galleries of Scotland. So a really prestigious place in the centre of town. It's a really popular rest break for Edinburgh residents to enjoy a cup of tea and shortbread as they were doing their day's shopping. And this panel, The Hunt, was the first thing you saw as you entered the tea rooms before going into the ladies' tea room, which was all designed by Robert Burns as well. It had images of women in the picture, and it felt like a very luxurious parlour to go into. It was really trying to be a rival of the Willow Tea Rooms in Glasgow by Charles Rennie Mackintosh, and this was kind of the Edinburgh version of such a luxurious place to go. He was commissioned a year later to do another room, which was a Japanese tea room. The idea that Crawford was going to build from Princes Street right through to their tea rooms in Hanover Street, and there'd be a series of rooms and grills that you would go from one to the other. And one of the more rich rooms was the Japanese tea rooms. There were 27 panels showing the Spanish Armada going past the coast of Scotland in lacquered panels round the room. And these have been recently rediscovered and acquired by the Royal Scottish Academy, which had them restored for their wonderful exhibition, The Ages of Wonder, which was a retrospective show of the history of the Royal Scottish Academy. And they were installed in the President's Room in the Royal Scottish Academy, and some of the friends of the Royal Scottish Academy actually reproduced the tea room with tables and chairs, and they actually wore 1920s style uniforms with little peaked hats, and they served people cups of tea and high tea in this wonderful space surrounded by the panels. The panels are actually still there in the President's Room in the Friends of the Royal Scottish Academy, part of the Royal Scottish Academy building. And they just saw the exuberance of Robert Burns' work. He went on to be very successful. He actually purchased a townhouse in Northumberland Street in the New Town, still a very prestigious street within Edinburgh. And the top gallery of his townhouse, he actually had a studio built. So he has a studio built with windows. It can still be seen today at the top of his residence on Northumberland Street. One of the little moments I really like in the panel, The Hunt by Robert Burns, if we look down on the bottom left-hand corner, we can see a little stylized image of a 1920s or 30s car. He was a great supporter of the automobile. He was a fan of cars and automobiles. And there's a little visual joke down at the bottom half left. He's sort of hidden a small image of a 1930s car. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this very short look at this wonderful panel, and hopefully we'll be able to visit it in person in the gallery at some point. And we see you all back for the gallery social. And for the time being, keep healthy and look forward to seeing you back in the gallery when we all have our vaccinations. And thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this short video. Thank you. Bye.